This is the future.
Okay, this is important and I would like to clear up some misconceptions regarding the upcoming Duviri Paradox update. I know there's a lot of hype now, as the update is just days away from release. Duviri Paradox will be available on April 26th, which is 2 days away from now, and I think that you should know this first before even diving into the Duviri Paradox. So, the Duviri Paradox will add a new mission type called the Circuit. Tenno who is eager to put their Warframes to the test in challenging new ways is welcome to jump into the Circuit. The Circuit is a new endless game mode unique to the Duviri Paradox that shakes up traditional Warframe gameplay by combining familiar mission types that change every round, with new Duviri combat tile sets filled with familiar and new enemies and the ability to earn degrees to further increase your Drifter and Warframe's power. For starters, it will be comprised of rotating endless activities, such as defense, survival, or excavation. Now, we all know that Duviri Paradox is a Drifter-centric open world, but the Circuit mission will be a Warframe-centered mission that is underneath Duviri, far from the influence of Dominus Thrax. This game mode will have 2 versions, the Steel Path, and the normal Circuit. Each week, the Circuit will have rotating rewards. These will be a 10-tier reward path to unlock Warframe and weapon blueprints in the normal version of the game mode, as well as mods and arcanes. Now, that's the normal Circuit. The Steel Path version is kind of different, as it will reward you with Incarn Genesis adapters. The first time you enter the Steel Path Circuit each week, you will be prompted to select 2 Incarn Genesis from a pool of 5 choices. Each stage you complete will contribute Circuit experience towards your reward tiers in the Circuit. The items in your reward path include your selected Incarn Genesis, Steel Essence, and an assortment of other items pulled from curated reward pools. Important things that you should also know is that you don't get to choose your Warframe here. Instead, you will be given random Warframes to choose from, which means no meta killing and cheesing all the random missions in this Circuit runs. In choosing a Warframe, if you have the Prime variant plus the mods equipped, you can use that, but if you don't have the Warframe, then you just want to try it out, then you choose that frame and you will be loaned with these mods called Lono mods, which are the basic mods probably that are good for the Warframe. In addition, there will be no acolytes in the Steel Path version, and Steel Essence will be a reward instead of the usual which is dropped by acolytes. Any Warframe can be loaned to new players who do not own them, but not their Prime variants. However, Thrax enemies from the Zariman, as well as new Duviri enemies and old enemies from the game, will spawn into the activity. Also, you will be given the task of finding decrees in each stage, and once you find all of them, then you can select a decree, which is a sort of buff to your Warframes, and each time you finish and find all decree, you will be rewarded with another until you decide to stop the Circuit run. Now, I know most of you already watched my preparation guide video for the Circuit mission, and I have tackled what to expect and what to bring, but I need to do another video of this to get rid of some misconceptions. So, some of you have been messaging me about this mission, and the most common message was if the Circuit will be your all-in-one mission for gaining new Warframes in the game. People in my community were pleased that it's kind of a scapegoat for all the long-hour grind, just praying for one part of the Warframe you are building to drop. You see, if you are a player that progressed through the start chart and somehow beat most of the content, or at Steel Path levels right now, then you will be delighted that you can get the Warframes that you don't have with this system, as all you need is to run a few missions and get to the tier wherein the parts are rewarded. However, this is not a total scapegoat in my opinion, especially for the new players, as after getting the parts, normally, you will have to farm star chart resources to craft that in the foundry. You gain the blueprint, but you can't escape the fact that you will also need to progress through the star chart so you can farm those resources needed to craft the parts. The normal Circuit will be a great mission to skip the RNG, but you still can't skip the grind. I think it's a pretty good strategy to keep new players playing Warframe first. They can select to go in the Duviri Paradox and skip the boring Warframe path first. Finish the main quest for about 2 hours and get hyped, then do some Circuit runs, and then they'll be presented with Warframe parts, and after that, they'll research where to get the materials needed to craft, only to get slap in the face that they'll be doing the Warframe path eventually to progress in Steel Path. That sounds harsh, but I think it's the best route for new players, as you don't have to get into specific nodes to farm a Warframe part over and over again and just wait for the rotation so the parts will pop up. Also, in the circuit, you get a chance to try out the Warframes that you don't own, know their abilities and how to use them. It's also some sort of training ground, and this will get you invested in farming a Warframe once you like its skill set. It's really a good starting point for new players as you get to try the Warframes. You also have an easy route of farming their parts, and RNG won't piss you off. However, just like what I have said, it will not be a total scapegoat in terms of farming parts for your new Warframes. If Digital Extremes did reward pre-built Warframe parts, then that would be insane, but in their recent live stream, we have seen that the Warframe parts are craftable, which only means that we need to grind for resources for us to craft them in the foundry. It doesn't completely get rid of the grind, but it lessens the grind by deleting RNG for acquiring Warframed parts. In addition, you get other rewards to help you in progressions such as mods, and even arcanes. It's like playing Duviri Paradox first will get you that early help aside from progressing through the star chart and acquiring some stuff. The best part about this is Incarnon Genesis system, which is an expansion of the current Incarnon system. I really can't wait to farm circuit like a wild madman and scream no content after a month. I'm just kidding. Also, I'm kind of interested in what other rewards can the circuit give us. I'm talking about Duviri resources here, or items that we can get and sell for platinum. One way of making platinum in the game is by taking advantage of the new content. Just like the principle of new prime access, new items in the game means rare, and they sell tons of platinum for a couple of days until players collected them all. Just like when Digital Extremes released the weapon arcanes, players were selling them like crazy for high prices, but eventually, the prices went down after a couple of weeks. So, my advice is to take advantage of this. The developer said that there will be new Duviri arcanes. I don't know yet if it's drifter or operator only, or will there be for weapons and Warframes. Farming is always great in Warframe. We don't call this game Warfarm for anything. Again, I would like to apologize for the misconception that my previous circuit preparation guide has brought to the general public. I was hyping that it's a great source for Warframe parts, but I did not include that details wherein you can't escape the grind of farming resources for that specific Warframed part. Also, if you are thinking that resources needed for crafting weapon parts will also be dropped from enemies in the circuit, well, I don't think that would happen, because all I saw from the mission was full of corrupted and Zariman enemies. However, there could be a possibility that we could end up getting different types of factions as enemies also in the circuit, but it's still not enough though, as most of the resources to craft some Warframe parts costs thousands of that specific resources. Also, there are rare materials that only dropped from specific nodes in the star chart, so there's really no escaping the grind for resources. All that it offers is the deletion of RNG in acquiring Warframe parts. I think I have made my point in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for another Warframe build guide. Squad leader signing off.